spring blossoms and polite smiles on the 8th of March, or frozen cobblestones and pure fury in the city streets. This global holiday actually started with a cry for bread, and that desperate hunger ended up shattering an empire. Today, we treat this date as a gentle tribute to femininity, showering loved ones with sweet gifts, yet its roots are buried deep in fierce political struggles and brutal battles for basic survival. At the dawn of the 20th century, female textile workers decided they had suffered long enough. In 1908, 15,000 exhausted textile workers marched through New York City avenues. By 1910, a prominent socialist named Clara Zetkin ignited a radical idea at a massive forum. Over 100 delegates from 17 different nations gathered in Copenhagen to support her. She demanded an annual strike day, focusing entirely on voting rights and fair workplace conditions. A year later, a catastrophic factory fire in Manhattan exposed the deadly reality of their labor. 146 lives were lost, transforming the peaceful labor movement into a fierce roar. The real explosion happened during the unbearably freezing Russian winter of 1917. World War I drained all resources, leaving starving mothers waiting endlessly outside empty bakeries. These furious protesters were not merely asking for food, they demanded an absolute end to the war. On March 8th, working women abandoned their machines and flooded the icy streets with demands. Their defiant march acted as a match dropped into powder, instantly pulling thousands into the riot. Armed guards deployed to suppress the chaos looked at the desperate mothers and refused to shoot. A mere week later, the Russian Tsar stepped down, completely surrendering his historical throne. They originally marched in February, but the adoption of the Gregorian calendar shifted it to March. This phenomenal victory inspired movements across the globe, adapting to various cultural landscapes. In 1975, the United Nations officially cemented this date into global consciousness. Italian feminists chose yellow mimosas as their emblem, representing blooming resilience and joy. Chinese law grants women a mandatory half-day off work to honor their vital societal contributions. Across several Balkan nations, the holiday blended seamlessly with traditional Mother's Day tributes. Berlin recently became the first German capital region to declare it a legally binding public holiday. American traditions skipped the flowers entirely, focusing instead on fierce rallies and loud debates. They dedicated the entire month of March to highlighting female historical achievements nationwide. You might notice crowds wearing purple, green, and white, honoring the original suffragette colors. Meanwhile, Soviet leaders made it a state holiday, gradually softening its rebellious radical edge. The furious protests slowly transformed into a commercialized routine of purchasing chocolates. Yet despite the sweet treats, the massive global gender pay gap proves the battle is far from over. Hidden behind the romantic gestures lies an uncompromising legacy of incredible female courage. When you hand over that beautiful spring bouquet, do you realize what you are actually honoring? Are you celebrating a simple seasonal blossom or the unstoppable force of a social revolution? If this forgotten history blew your mind, smash that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts.